Grab your girls, grab your stash of yarn, grab a seat at the craft table because you can fill an afternoon of making darling yarn flowers with an $14, I'm being corrected on the spot, a $14 flower loom. We can afford a few extra bucks for this project, especially when you see how cute it is. We think it might be the project to get you in a springtime mood. There are so many ways happy little flowers can be made from string. Here to teach us how is fiber artist Sarah Freeman. Look, just pause, just look. Just look at this happiness. Like, I stepped over and I was just like, yes, this is what we need on a Monday. You, your cute sweater, and all of this coziness, these are darling, Sarah.
Well, if spring is going to take its time getting to us,
yes,
we're going to help it feel motivated to get here.
Help us catch your energy for this project specifically. What are you loving about these?
I'm obsessed with these yarn flowers.
Yarn flowers.
Like, obsessed. I was making them and didn't realize that I had like made this huge pile just because they're so much fun to make. They're so easy. And I might even be bold enough to say that they are the new pom-pom.
Yarn flowers are the new pom-pom.
And that's saying a lot because I love pom-poms.
I know you do.
I mean, I can't even count how many times I have brought pom-poms to the show.
I know.
So this is like, it's like kind of right up there. And what I like about it is that they can be used anywhere you would use a pom-pom.
Okay.
And there's like a lot less mess because you don't have to trim. And anyway, we'll get into it, but it's a lot easier and less mess.
No haircut involved, pieces
no haircut
flying.
Involved.
I'm seeing banners. I'm seeing, look at this, the wall art is amazing.
These are just extra large versions.
Oh my gosh.
Thicker yarn, and we're actually gonna use these as party props this week for my daughter's birthday. So just fun to kind of hang and string all over the place with a bigger size, bigger effect.
It's not just the flower, it's the color contrast of that cute little dot center. I know we'll get into it, but I love the banner. I love the bouquet.
Yes, a bouquet. If you can't have fresh flowers from your yard right now, you can make some at home, and you can still have a great little flower bouquet at home.
Present toppers.
Present toppers. I love to use pom-poms on presents, like to tie a little pom-pom on the top. So instead of a pom-pom, just added a couple of these flowers. You can tie them to the top of a bag, add them to the top of a wrapped gift. They're perfect. Even like an Easter basket, it would be so cute attached to an Easter basket on the side.
The colors you're choosing too are something to talk about. I mean, that moodier, warmer yellow with the poppy pinks and lavender.
Like mustardy yellow, I kind of love it.
It grounds all those bright colors.
It does, and it just gives a little extra, little pop of sunshine.
A little weight to it.
But so a wreath as well. You can make a wreath, stick it on your door for a little springtime wreath.
I totally see now why this is sort of a Dory just keep swimming project. Like, just keep making, just keep making. Because
before you know it.
Look at all this. Okay, show us, would you please?
Okay, so we're gonna talk about some of our materials here. You may have this kind of a thing. This is just a round, like knitting loom.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people use these to make hats. You just kind of fold it over and it ends up like making a hat that you tie off at the bottom. So you may have something like this lying around your house. If you don't, I bought this whole set on Amazon. It was $20. I wanted all the sizes, but if you don't care about having all the sizes, you can find them cheaper individually. Okay. And then this is actually a flower loom. That is actually what it is called.
Somebody made something to make flowers?
I know,
This is fantastic. I want to shake their hand.
And it has different sizes.
Okay.
And it actually came with some square ones as well, so that you can even like put a square around your flower and everything.
And this is the $14 one.
This was $14 on Amazon. There are some knockoff brands that are a little cheaper. There are some $8 ones. I love the Clover brand just because I've used their pom-pom makers for years. I trust it, and so I got the Clover brand.
You want it to hold up when you're making thousands upon thousands of pom-pom flowers.
Yes, it's true. And Clover really does hold up for a long time.
I'm excited to learn.
Okay, so we're gonna start with some smaller ones for now. We'll move these out of the way. So depending on how big you want yours to be, so like these larger ones are obviously like the ones behind us, but I love this size for some of these bigger flowers in like our garlands and on the wreath. So you begin by taking some yarn. Now let's talk yarn for a second too. There's so many different varieties of yarn, and depending on the size you want, you probably want your yarn to kind of coordinate with your size of loom.
The size of your yarn.
So if you want a bigger one, thicker yarns, chunkier yarns are better.
Okay.
Thinner would be better for like this tiny one. This will not work with chunky yarn. I tried and it does not look
So
good.
Just scale to
so
your
you'll need to
size.
sort of see. The other thing too is that we can actually add more petals if you need to fill it more.
For a fluffier flower?
Fluffier flower.
Yeah, I tried to say that too. That's okay. We'll move
Tongue
right along.
twisters. Anyway, so you're gonna start by taking your yarn. You're gonna wanna hold on to this. So you need to get a pretty good
grip,
like end, and you're gonna also use that to tie at the end.
Okay.
And then you begin by wrapping around a peg, and we're gonna always move clockwise around each peg. So that's just kind of a good rule of thumb, just always move clockwise. You want to match up like top to the one at the bottom.
Okay.
And then you just go across. And this can go really fast. So I skipped one. You can go on all of them if you want more petals. If you want less petals, you'll do less.
But always going directly diagonally across.
Right, you're always gonna go across. And then you can also even double them up if you want it to be like
2 in the same loop?
Yeah,
like
so
2
you go
passes.
around once, and then you go around a second time right on top.
Okay.
So I'll try to
You're
get
amazing.
this
Look at
done
her
real
fingers
quick.
fly.
Well, and these bigger ones are actually really nice. Thank you.
Can I help you?
Because the pegs have a little bit of like a stopper at the top. The flower loom doesn't have that. And so they tend to slide off. So that's why it's helpful to have a smaller yarn.
I'm reminded in this moment how proud I am to be all of these creative geniuses' assistants. Like in the kitchen when I'm asked to pour, you know, a cup of cheese in a bowl, I do it. When I'm asked to hold yarn, I feel so esteemed in this role because you guys are so...
And that made it so much better.
You're amazing. Everyone who comes on the show, the ideas, it kills me.
Anyway, you could totally do this.
What did you do right there?
So I just cut and then I stuffed my yarn through to the back side because now we're gonna tie a knot with our other piece of yarn.
In the back?
That, yep, on the back side because we don't really want our yarn, our knot on the front.
Okay.
Okay, step one.
Yes.
Then we're gonna do our center.
Okay.
I like to do kind of the same thing. If I'm using a chunkier yarn, you can use a chunkier center. But I also really like the look of just a really thin yarn in the center as well. This is really simple. You're going to go through, and again, you need to hold your string on the back so that you kind of keep it in place. Go directly across.
Okay.
And this is basically, it's sewing now at this point. And then you pick another one and you go through. I kind of like to go in kind of an X pattern.
Okay.
Just so it'll have like more.
Just tighten it up, close it off.
You just go back and forth.
All right.
And you want to make sure you get in all of them. For the sake of this show, I'm going to just kind of, we'll cut it right there. But
Got it.
so we end up back on the back side. You're gonna knot it, take our needle off. The needle does help, and usually these looms will come with a plastic needle, just for convenience as well.
Okay, now what?
Now we get to take
This is
it
it?
off.
This is the moment.
This is it.
This is the magic
This is
moment.
the whole thing. No trimming like a pom-pom.
The flowers are blooming in front of our eyes.
Yes, and this is a really thin one because I only went around once and I only went on every other.
Okay, but stop it. Look at that.
So, and this is kind of.
Look at that.
It's a little limp right now.
It could be stronger, fluffier,
but
fuller,
you could use a thicker yarn and make it a little fuller. But I also have another trick.
What?
This is a fabric stiffener, and you can spray your flower with this fabric stiffener, and it actually helps it to keep its shape. So I did that on all of these, and I did that on the garlands as well. The smaller ones don't tend to need it because they just hold their shape.
And it's not rigid. It's just enough.
Right.
It little
keeps
hairspray.
them fluffy. It is. It's exactly like hairspray. That's
Sarah, you're the
exactly.
best. You're so talented. The way you put these colors together and the way you've done the different, like you talked about, kind of thickness and textures is just so fun to look at and touch and craft with. How can we connect with you online?
You can find me online at www.apricotpolkadot.com or on Instagram at apricotpolkadot.
Apricot polka dot. More tutorials coming, I hope.
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll meet you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
For starting our show off on such a beautiful, happy note.